When should you file bankruptcy?
I believe never. And if you know Dave Ramsey's story, he famously filed bankruptcy back in the day. But what happened is he had his back up against the wall. He had done everything he could in the time that he was allotted, 90 days to pay back all the mortgages that he had, and he couldn't sell them off in time and therefore had to file bankruptcy. So we've never told someone on air, you should file bankruptcy. What we tell them is do everything you can to climb out of this thing. And then eventually, if you're a Dave Ramsey situation, it's going to be a natural byproduct because you've run out of options. But too many people make it the first option instead of a last-ditch effort of, I tried everything I could, and I couldn't pay it back in time, and there was no way out. But rarely is that the case these days. Most of the time, even if it's a couple $100,000 in SBA loans, that's a big one we get, is people took on a bunch of leverage to start a business, the business failed, and yet they're left, holding the bag. And that's a scary situation. We go, hey, you guys have to go get normal jobs and work on paying this down over time and get on a payment plan. But I still believe that is the best path out because the behavior change and transformation that happens when you have to pay all of that money back and sacrifice and actually have that inner transformation, you'll never go back in. Because what we see is people go into bankruptcy 2, 3, 4 times because they just keep doing the same behavior that got them there. They never really learn.
What are your thoughts on debt consolidation?
Oof, it's another shortcut that I'm not a fan of. People, again, think this is some magic trick of just I'm going to take my 20 different debts and put it into one debt, and that'll be easier to manage. And the truth is it makes it harder to pay off because now you're staring at Everest instead of quick win, knock out one debt, knock out the next, which is the debt snowball method. Mm-hmm. Debt consolidation makes the debt snowball method nearly impossible. Because now you're just paying back one giant loan.
What if you lower the interest rate and it lowers your payments and you're able to chip away at it faster? Do you think the psychological aspect just outweighs that?
I still think the interest savings isn't worth it, especially if you're doing our plan. Because our plan says gazelle intensity, deep sacrifice for a short period of time. So therefore, the actual math on how much you'd save on interest is negligible when you're going to attack it in 18 to 24 months, which is the average we find people getting out of their consumer debt following our plan to a T. And so I've never seen someone go, man, I became debt-free and debt consolidation was my ticket. Or even worse, these debt settlement, debt relief companies that are popping up all over the place.
What are you seeing right now with inflation impacting people's finances? Because right now, gas prices are crazy. Even in Vegas, I'm seeing $5, $6 a gallon.
Yeah, I was just in California, and I wanted to throw up thinking about
it's $8 a gallon.
Having to fill up a car.
There was one gas station by Beverly Hills where someone posted on Reddit, $10 a gallon for gas.
That is insane.
$10.
I think I'd get a bicycle real quick.
It's
nice weather over there, so you can easily get to where you need to go. Or just, don't leave the house other than going to work and back. But yeah, that's true. Inflation is real. It's not like a boogeyman. There's a real level of prices have gone up. And even as inflation has cooled, the prices just don't go back down. No. They just don't go up at quite the same pace. And so it is a real problem. I don't see it changing drastically anytime soon. And therefore, what's the solution? It's your budget. It's cutting back in other places and trying to make more where you can. That's the only real solution is to go, all right, gas is going to cost me $250 instead of $150. Well, where am I going to find that $100? I got to cut it from somewhere else. And once you can do that math and start to finagle your own finances, it becomes a lot less stressful than just sort of being in denial, going, yeah, gas is more expensive, but I'll add it to the tab, I'll put it on my credit card, and hopefully I'll be able to pay off the balance at the end of the month. No, instead, make a real plan of where that extra money is going to come from, whether it's from working extra, getting a raise, getting a promotion, cutting back on subscriptions, cutting back on eating out, because that money is real and you have to account for it.
How often is not making enough money a valid reason for someone's dissatisfaction with their finances or being in debt?
I would say out of all the Ramsey show calls I take, there's probably 10% where it legitimately is an income problem. But even then, they are in the debt to income ratio is off balance. So they have $40,000 in debt, but they make $60,000 as a household. That's a really tough situation. As your debt starts to creep up with as much as your income, if not more, the math just becomes a lot harder to pay off. But rarely do I think once you hit the normal threshold, which most of our callers, they're making the average median household income or higher. They're doing well. They're making $80K, $100K, $150K. Rarely do we get the ones that are, hey, our household income is $40K. Yes, that is a problem. You're not going to be able to have a stay-at-home spouse with a bunch of kids, with the car you want, life you want, while making $40K as a household. That's just really tight in today's America. So the good news is we always dig in and go, what are you doing for work? Okay, what's the ladder in that field? And if there isn't one, how do we get you out of this like hourly wage position making 15 or 20 bucks an hour?
Do you tell them to be an AI consultant?
You know, I haven't tried that yet. I heard Grant Cardone say you can make $1 million a year pretty easily as an AI consultant. I haven't attempted it. But I do tell people, okay, what is the skill set behind the thing that you're doing? And then where can you make a lot of money with that same skill set if you just moved it over here? And obviously, if you listen to Ken Coleman, what is the thing you're actually passionate about? So not just the thing that's going to be soul-sucking, because we also get a lot of calls from young guys who go, hey, I just want to make a lot of money. I want to go into medical device sales because I've heard you can make a lot of money. Well, that's a terrible reason to go into medical device sales because you're going to get burnt out. You're not going to last. You're not going to be a good salesperson. You're going to come across a little skeezy if you're only in it for that dollar.
Now, I'm sure I don't need to say this, but buying a home is usually one of the largest and most important financial decisions you'll ever make. And with rates moving around, it's easy to feel the pressure to act fast. But the truth is, the right time to buy or refinance is when you're financially ready.
That's why today's sponsor, Churchill Mortgage, stands out. They're not a transactional lender. They're a trusted guide focused on helping you build a smart, long-term plan for homeownership.
And what really makes Churchill different is their focus on readiness. They walk you through your entire financial picture and help you understand what you could truly afford, not just what you could qualify for. It's way more than just a mortgage. It's a strategy.
And we've actually had Dave Ramsey on the podcast before, so we've talked firsthand about his philosophy around debt-free living and financial peace. Churchill has been his trusted mortgage company for over 30 years, which says a lot about how aligned they are with that long-term planning.
They also have a 4.9 rating on Google and were named the Newsweek top nationwide mid-size lender based on client ratings. That kind of trust doesn't happen by accident. So if you're thinking about buying a home or refinancing, get a customized plan built around your goals at churchillmortgage.com/coffee.
Again, that is churchillmortgage.com/coffee to learn more and to see what the smarter mortgage looks like for you. This is a paid advertisement, NMLS ID 1591, NMLS consumeraccess.org, equal housing lender.